Many foreigners dream of finding love in the Philippines. The warmth, kindness, and dedication of Filipinos make relationships here feel different from what many men have experienced before. Unlike in the West, where dating can sometimes feel complicated or uncertain, relationships in the Philippines often seem more straightforward, filled with affection and commitment. It feels refreshing, exciting, and deeply fulfilling. But is love in the Philippines truly different? Or is it just the illusion of something better? Many foreigners enter relationships here without fully understanding the cultural differences, expectations, and long-term realities of dating a Filipina. What starts as a perfect romance can later turn into a complicated situation if you are not prepared. Today, we are going to talk about what makes love in the Philippines unique, the common misunderstandings foreigners have, and the key things you need to know before committing to a Filipina. If you want a successful relationship, this is something you must understand. At first, everything seems perfect. A foreigner arrives in the Philippines and meets a Filipina who treats him like he is the most important person in the world. She is sweet, affectionate, and always willing to make him happy. She checks on him throughout the day, prepares his favorite food, and never lets him feel alone. It feels like she genuinely cares, and her attention makes him feel wanted and valued in a way he might not have experienced before. Unlike dating in the West, where relationships often feel uncertain or distant, here everything seems natural, passionate, and full of warmth. It does not take long before he starts thinking that he has found the perfect woman. She talks about the future, expresses her love openly, and seems completely devoted. Every moment spent together is enjoyable, and there is never a dull moment. She is always smiling, laughing, and making him feel like he belongs. The connection feels deep, and it is easy to believe that this love is different, purer, and more meaningful than what he has known before. He starts imagining a life together, maybe even marriage. He thinks to himself, why wait? If love feels this right, there is no reason to hesitate. But what many foreigners do not realize is that love in the Philippines comes with its own set of expectations and challenges. Filipinos grow up in a culture that values commitment, family, and loyalty. They are often raised with the belief that relationships should be serious, leading to marriage and a lifetime together. This means that a Filipina may see a relationship differently than a foreigner does. While he may think of it as a beautiful romance that is growing naturally, she may already be thinking long-term, expecting commitment and a future together. One of the biggest misunderstandings foreigners have when dating a Filipina is the role of family in her life. In many Western countries, relationships are primarily between two people, with little involvement from family. But in the Philippines, family is everything. A Filipina's decisions, values, and expectations are often influenced by her parents and siblings. If a foreigner does not understand this, he may feel surprised when he realizes that his partner's family plays an active role in their relationship. It is common for Filipinas to be close to their families, and sometimes, their family's opinion can strongly influence their romantic choices. A foreigner who is not prepared for this may start to feel uncomfortable. He may expect his relationship to be private, only between him and his partner. But in reality, her family may be involved in decisions like where they live, how they handle finances, and even when they should get married. If he does not understand this cultural difference, it can create tension in the relationship. He may feel like his personal space is being invaded, while she may feel like he does not respect her family values. Another major factor that foreigners need to consider is financial expectations. In the early stages of a relationship, money might not seem like an issue. The Filipina may never ask for anything, and everything feels balanced. But as the relationship grows, financial matters often start to appear in subtle ways. She may mention that her parents need help with medical bills, that her younger sibling needs school fees, or that she dreams of a better future. Some foreigners are happy to help because they love their Filipina and want to support her. Others feel pressured, unsure if they are being seen as a provider rather than a partner. This is why open communication is essential. Many financial misunderstandings happen because expectations are not discussed early in the relationship. A foreigner who assumes that money will never be an issue may be caught off guard when his partner begins to ask for help. On the other hand, a Filipina who assumes that her foreign partner will provide for her and her family may feel disappointed if he does not. If both partners do not talk about financial responsibilities early on, it can create problems later. Another common challenge is jealousy. Filipinas are known for being devoted partners, but this devotion can sometimes turn into possessiveness. In the beginning, it might seem sweet when she asks where he is or who he is talking to. But over time, if she starts checking his phone, questioning his female friends, or getting upset when he spends time alone, it can become overwhelming. Some foreigners enjoy the attention at first, seeing it as proof of love. But eventually, constant jealousy can lead to stress and frustration. Trust is one of the most important foundations of a relationship, and if a foreigner and his Filipina partner cannot trust each other, it will be difficult for the relationship to last. For some foreigners, these misunderstandings lead to disappointment, frustration, or even heartbreak. What once felt like a perfect romance now starts to feel stressful. If the foreigner is not prepared for the realities of a relationship in the Philippines, he may start to feel trapped. He might want more personal space, but she expects constant attention. He might not want to provide financial support, but she expects him to help. He might want to take things slowly, but she and her family expect commitment. The differences between expectations can become too much, and the relationship may begin to break down. But this does not mean that love in the Philippines is not real. Many foreigners find true happiness with Filipinas because they take the time to understand their partner and communicate clearly. A successful relationship with a Filipina is possible, but it requires patience, cultural awareness, and honesty. Instead of rushing into a commitment, a foreigner should take the time to truly understand his partner's expectations and values. He should talk about the future, discuss finances openly, and set clear boundaries about what he is comfortable with. If both partners are willing to compromise and work together, they can build a strong and lasting relationship. A Filipina's love is deep and genuine, but for it to work, both partners need to be on the same page. The happiest couples are those who respect each other's differences and find a way to balance cultural expectations with personal needs. Before making a serious commitment, a foreigner should ask himself, do I truly understand this person? Have we talked about important issues like family, money, and long-term plans? Am I making this decision based on emotions, or have I thought about the realities of this relationship? If the answer is yes, then love in the Philippines can be one of the most beautiful and fulfilling experiences of a lifetime. But if there are doubts, it is better to take time, communicate, and make sure that both partners have the same vision for the future. Love is not just about passion and emotions, it is about understanding, respect, and commitment. If approached with patience and wisdom, a relationship with a Filipina can be one of the most rewarding experiences in life. But if rushed into blindly, it can lead to confusion, disappointment, and difficult situations. The key is to love wisely, with both heart and mind. A foreigner arrives in the Philippines and is immediately captivated by the charm of the women here. Filipinas are naturally sweet, caring, and affectionate. Unlike in his home country, where relationships can feel distant or full of mind games, here everything feels genuine. He meets a Filipina who makes him feel special. She listens to him, laughs at his jokes, and always checks on him to make sure he is doing well. It feels like she truly cares about him in a way that is rare to find elsewhere. From the beginning, she is attentive, always sending good morning messages, calling him love or honey, and treating him with warmth and respect. She makes an effort to make him happy, preparing his favorite food, holding his hand in public, and constantly reassuring him of her love. The foreigner, who may have had past relationships that felt emotionally distant, is overwhelmed by the attention and affection. After just a few weeks, he starts thinking, maybe I finally found the right woman. Maybe love in the Philippines is truly different. The connection feels deep, The emotions are strong, and he sees no reason to hesitate. Everything seems perfect, and he starts to believe that relationships here are easier, more loving, and free of the problems he faced before. But is this reality? Or is he only seeing what he wants to see? As the days turn into weeks, the relationship continues to feel effortless. His Filipina girlfriend is always there, showering him with love, checking in on him, and making sure he is happy. She tells him how lucky she is to have found him, and he feels the same way. It is not just about physical attraction, there is a deep emotional connection that makes everything feel right. He no longer has to guess how she feels, she tells him directly. She expresses her love through actions, making sure that he is well taken care of and that he never feels alone. He enjoys the simplicity of their love. There are no power struggles, no constant arguments, no games. It is refreshing, something he never experienced before. In his past relationships, things always felt complicated. There were expectations, unspoken rules, and emotional distance. But with his Filipina, everything is different. She does not make him feel like he has to prove himself constantly. She just loves him for who he is. This makes him feel safe, wanted, and truly valued. Before he knows it, he starts thinking about the future. He wonders if she is the one. Should they move in together? Should they get married? Should he build a life with her? The thought excites him. The idea of having a woman who will always be by his side, who will love him unconditionally, and who will make their home warm and full of happiness, it feels like the right decision. He has never felt this way before. Everything seems so perfect that he does not see any reason to wait. But love, especially in a new culture, is not just about feelings. It is about understanding. And what he does not realize yet is that love in the Philippines, while deep and beautiful, comes with its own expectations. At first, these expectations are not visible. The relationship is new, and both partners are enjoying the excitement of being together. But as time passes, small things begin to appear, things he might not have noticed in the beginning. He starts to notice that she wants to be with him all the time. At first, he found it sweet. He loved how much she wanted to spend time with him, how she would call him and text him throughout the day, how she would ask about everything he was doing. But now, he starts to feel like he has little space for himself. If he wants to go out alone or spend time with friends, she asks many questions. Who will be there? What time will he be back? Will there be women there? If he does not respond quickly to her messages, she becomes anxious, thinking that something is wrong. What he once thought was just deep affection now starts to feel like possessiveness. Then, there is the topic of family. In his home country, relationships are usually between two people. Family may be present, but they do not have much influence in the couple's private life. But here, family is everything. His Filipina girlfriend talks to her family every day. They know about their relationship, and they ask about him often. At first, he does not think much about it. He finds it endearing that she is so close to her family. But soon, he starts to feel like his relationship is not just between him and her, it includes her family as well. Her family wants to meet him early on. They welcome him warmly, treating him like a part of their household. They are kind, generous, and genuinely happy that their daughter has found a good man. But he starts to notice that their opinions matter to her. If her mother or father disapproves of something, she listens. If her siblings need help, she feels responsible. And slowly, he realizes that being with her means also being involved with her family. This is not a bad thing, but it is different from what he is used to. Financial expectations also start to appear, but in subtle ways. She never directly asks for money, but she mentions small things. Maybe her younger sibling needs school fees. Maybe her parents are struggling financially. Maybe she wants to help them, but she cannot do it alone. He feels a sense of responsibility. He loves her, and he does not want to see her stressed or unhappy. So, he helps a little. Just a small amount. Nothing big, But once he starts helping, it becomes a regular thing. He does not mind at first, but over time, he starts to wonder, was this always expected? The relationship, which once felt so light and effortless, now starts to feel a little heavier. He still loves her, but he starts to see things he did not notice before. The possessiveness, the family involvement, the financial expectations, these are all part of dating in the Philippines, but he was not prepared for them. He realizes that he rushed in too quickly, seeing only the good parts and ignoring the deeper cultural differences. For some foreigners, these differences lead to frustration and confusion. They feel that the relationship has changed, that the love they once felt so deeply now comes with responsibilities they did not anticipate. Some try to adjust, to understand, to adapt. Others feel overwhelmed and start to pull away. This is where relationships either grow stronger or begin to break apart. But love in the Philippines is real. The affection, the dedication, and the deep commitment of a Filipina are genuine. The key is understanding that love here is not just about two people, it is about family, about shared responsibility, about emotional connection beyond just romance. A foreigner who takes the time to truly understand his partner, to talk openly about expectations, and to set clear boundaries will have a much greater chance of building a successful and lasting relationship. Before committing, he needs to ask himself, do I truly understand her culture? Have we discussed important issues like family, finances, and the future? Am I making this decision based on deep understanding, or am I just caught up in emotions? If he can confidently say yes, then love in the Philippines can be one of the most beautiful experiences of his life. But if he has doubts, it is better to take things slow, to observe, to communicate, and to make sure that the love he is feeling is built on true compatibility, not just excitement. Love should be both emotional and logical. When approached with patience and understanding, it can lead to a relationship that is strong, fulfilling, and built to last. As time goes on, small signs start to appear. At first, the jealousy she shows seems cute. She asks where he is, who he is with, and seems a little possessive. He finds it sweet, thinking it just means she loves him. It feels good to have someone so invested in him, someone who truly cares about his whereabouts and how he spends his time. It is a kind of attention he is not used to, especially if he comes from a culture where people value independence and personal space. In the early days of the relationship, he even likes it. It makes him feel important, wanted, and desired. But as time passes, the questions become more frequent. If he does not reply to her messages immediately, she gets upset. At first, she just sends a follow-up text, maybe a simple "Where are you?" or "Are you busy?" But soon, it turns into multiple messages, missed calls, and longer explanations about why he was not answering right away. If he talks to another woman, even in a completely innocent way, she asks a lot of questions. Who was she? Why was she smiling at you? Do you like her? No matter how much he reassures her, the insecurity does not disappear. At first, he thinks that maybe she just needs time to feel secure in the relationship. He reminds himself that Filipinas are passionate and devoted, and maybe this is just part of how they love. But slowly, he begins to feel like he is being watched, like every move he makes is being analyzed. If he wants to go out with friends, she wants to know exactly where he is going, what time he will be back, and who will be there. If he spends too much time on his phone, she asks who he is chatting with. The jealousy that once felt like love now feels like control, and he starts to wonder if this is just how she is or if he somehow caused it. Then, there's the issue of family. Filipinas are deeply connected to their families, and in many cases, their decisions are influenced by their parents and siblings. At first, he loved this about her. He admired how much she cared for her family, how respectful she was to her parents, and how much she valued her relationships with her siblings. It made her seem kind-hearted and family-oriented, qualities that he found attractive. But as time passes, he realizes that her family is not just important to her, they are involved in every part of her life, including their relationship. They ask about their future plans, they want to meet him early on, and sometimes, they have strong opinions about their relationship. If he does something that upsets her, she tells her family about it. If they argue, her mother or sister suddenly knows all the details. It starts to feel like their relationship is not just between the two of them, it is between him, her, and her entire family. He also notices that decisions are not just made between the two of them. If he wants to move to a different city, she consults her family first. If they plan a vacation, her mother has an opinion on where they should go. If they talk about the future, she considers what her family thinks before making a choice. What he thought was a private relationship now feels public, as if he is dating not just her, but also everyone in her life. Financial expectations may also start to appear. In the beginning, everything felt balanced, she never asked for anything, and he felt that she truly loved him for who he was. He appreciated how independent she seemed, how she never talked about money, and how she seemed happy just spending time together. It reassured him that her feelings were real and not influenced by financial reasons. But later, she starts mentioning small financial struggles. Maybe her younger sibling needs school fees. Maybe her parents need medical help. Maybe she wants to help her family but does not know how. She does not directly ask, but she hints at it, expecting him to offer assistance. At first, he does not mind. He loves her, and helping her feels like the right thing to do. He tells himself that this is part of being in a relationship, that couples support each other, and that small financial help is not a big deal. But over time, the requests keep coming. They start small, a little help for school fees, some money to buy groceries, a contribution for rent. Then, they grow bigger, medical bills, house repairs, loans that need to be paid off. And what started as a one-time favor now feels like a responsibility. He starts to feel pressure. If he says no, she seems disappointed. If he hesitates, she looks hurt. If he helps, she is happy, but then another request comes soon after. He wonders if he is imagining things. Maybe this is just how relationships work in the Philippines. Maybe this is normal. He does not want to feel like he is being used, but at the same time, he does not want to feel like a bad person. He tries to balance things, helping when he can but also setting boundaries. But each time he sets a limit, she seems to take it personally, as if his love for her is measured by how much he is willing to give. The relationship, which once felt like a dream, now starts to feel more complicated. What seemed like pure love in the beginning now comes with responsibilities and expectations that he was not prepared for. The woman who once felt like his perfect match now seems like someone with many demands, emotional, financial, and social. He begins to wonder if the love he felt was real, or if he simply rushed in without seeing the full picture. He starts to reflect on how quickly things moved. He remembers how, just a few months ago, everything seemed effortless. She was sweet, caring, and never asked for anything. But now, there are so many expectations. He realizes that he did not take enough time to truly understand her, to learn about her family's values, or to talk about financial matters before getting serious. He thought that love was enough, but now he understands that love alone is not enough to sustain a relationship. He also starts noticing other things, small things that he once ignored. The way she gets defensive when he asks about her past relationships. The way she expects constant attention and gets upset when he needs time alone. The way she assumes that he will take care of her, even though they never discussed it. The way her family subtly expects things from him, even if they do not ask directly. For the first time, he feels unsure. He still loves her, but he is not sure if this is the right relationship for him. He wonders if he should talk to her about these concerns, but he is afraid of how she will react. Will she understand? Will she get upset? Will she see it as an attack on her culture and family values? He does not know what to do. Some foreigners, when faced with this reality, choose to leave. They realize that they rushed in too quickly, that they were not prepared for the cultural differences, and that the relationship was not what they expected. Others try to adapt, to understand, and to find a way to make things work. Some succeed, learning to embrace the cultural differences and finding happiness. Others struggle, feeling like they are sacrificing too much of their own identity just to keep the relationship going. Love in the Philippines is real, but it comes with responsibilities. The happiest couples are the ones who take their time, communicate openly, and set boundaries early in the relationship. A foreigner who truly understands his Filipina partner, her culture, and her expectations has a much better chance of building a strong, lasting relationship. But those who rush in blindly, without considering the long-term reality, may find themselves in a situation that is far more complicated than they ever imagined. Before making any big decision, he needs to ask himself, is this the love he truly wants? Is he ready for the expectations that come with it? Or is he just caught up in emotions, ignoring the reality that is slowly unfolding in front of him? Only time will tell. Tural expectations, and communicate openly have a much better chance of finding lasting happiness. Love in the Philippines is real, deep, and genuine, but it is also different from what many foreigners are used to. Those who enter relationships blindly, without fully understanding what they are committing to, often face challenges they never anticipated. For some men, what once felt like a dream relationship now feels like a duty. At first, they were drawn in by the warmth and devotion of their Filipina partner, but over time, they start to feel the weight of expectations. It is not that she does not love him, she does, often deeply. But in her mind, love comes with responsibility, with duty, with a kind of loyalty that includes not just her but also her family. The pressure to constantly prove his love can become exhausting. He feels like he has to reassure her every day that she is the only one for him. If he spends time alone, she might question why. If he talks to another woman, even in a friendly way, she might feel insecure. If he does not message her back right away, she might assume something is wrong. What he once thought was sweet and affectionate now feels like a constant test of his loyalty. Then there is the financial aspect. He never minded paying for dinners, gifts, and small expenses. In fact, he enjoyed taking care of her, showing his love in tangible ways. But then, the requests became more frequent. It started with small things, helping her with phone bills, buying groceries, paying for a taxi ride. Then, she mentioned that her younger sibling needed school fees. Her parents had a medical bill that was overdue. Her family's house needed repairs. She did not demand anything, but she hoped he would offer. And because he loved her, he did. At first, it felt good to help. He saw it as a way to show his love and support. But soon, he started to feel like his role in the relationship was changing. Instead of just being her boyfriend or husband, he felt like he was expected to take on the role of financial provider, not just for her, but for her entire family. If he hesitated, she looked disappointed. If he said no, she seemed hurt. And if he tried to explain that he could not keep giving, she might take it personally, as if his love for her had limits. Some men, at this point, start questioning everything. Did she love him for who he was, or for what he could provide? Was this what he truly wanted? Could he handle this for the rest of his life? He still loved her, but he also felt trapped between his feelings and his growing concerns. He wanted to make her happy, but he also wanted to feel free in his own relationship. For those who marry too quickly, the situation becomes even more complicated. Marriage is a serious commitment anywhere, but in the Philippines, it is nearly impossible to undo. Divorce does not exist, and annulments are long, expensive, and difficult to obtain. What many foreigners do not realize is that once they are married, they are legally and financially tied to their Filipino wife, with very few options if things do not work out. Some men wake up one day and realize that they rushed into marriage without fully understanding what it meant. They thought love was enough, but now they see that love also comes with expectations, compromises, and responsibilities that they were not ready for. If their marriage becomes unhappy, they have very few choices. They can stay, trying to make things work despite their doubts, or they can separate, knowing that legally, they are still bound to their wife for life. For others, the relationship does work out, but only because they take the time to understand their partner's culture, values, and expectations. They learn that love in the Philippines is different, that it comes with deeper connections to family, with different views on finances, with stronger ideas of commitment and sacrifice. They learn to set boundaries early, to communicate openly, and to make sure both partners have the same vision for the future. Those who build successful relationships here are not the ones who rush in blindly, but the ones who take their time. They observe, they ask questions, they make sure they truly understand the person they are with before making big commitments. They talk about money early on, setting clear expectations. They discuss family involvement, making sure they are comfortable with the role their partner's family will play in their lives. They do not just follow emotions, they make decisions with both their heart and their mind. And for those who do find the right Filipina, the rewards are great. A Filipina who truly loves her partner will be loyal, supportive, and dedicated. She will stand by him, care for him, and make his life happier and more fulfilling. She will bring warmth to his home, joy to his days, and a level of devotion that is rare to find. But for this love to thrive, both partners need to understand each other. The foreigner must respect her culture, and she must respect his personal boundaries. Love in the Philippines is real, but it is not always easy. It requires patience, communication, and a willingness to adapt. Before committing, a foreigner must ask himself, do I truly understand what I am getting into? Have I talked about the important things, family, money, expectations? Am I choosing this relationship with a clear mind, or am I simply following emotions? If he can answer yes, then he has a chance at a beautiful and lasting relationship. But if he has doubts, then he should take his time. True love is not in a hurry. It grows, it develops, and it strengthens over time. A well-thought-out decision will always lead to better results than a rushed one. For those who choose wisely, love in the Philippines can be the greatest experience of their lives. But for those who ignore the warning signs and rush in without thinking, the dream can quickly become a difficult reality. The choice is always in their hands. So, is love in the Philippines different? Yes, it is, but only if you understand it fully. Filipinas are some of the most loving, loyal, and dedicated partners in the world. Their culture values commitment, family, and deep emotional connection. But at the same time, relationships here come with expectations that may be different from what a foreigner is used to. The biggest mistake many foreigners make is assuming that love alone is enough. Love is important, but a strong relationship also requires patience, cultural understanding, and clear communication. Before committing to a Filipina, ask yourself, do I truly understand her values and expectations? Have we talked about money, family involvement, and the future? Am I making this decision based on reality, or just on emotions? If the answer is yes, then love in the Philippines can be one of the most beautiful experiences of your life. But if there are still doubts, take your time. True love is never in a hurry. The best relationships are built on trust, respect, and shared values. If you approach your relationship with wisdom and patience, you have a much greater chance of finding a love that will last a lifetime. Love in the Philippines is unique because it is deeply tied to tradition and cultural values. Unlike in many Western countries where relationships tend to focus on independence and personal goals, in the Philippines, relationships are about unity, family, and lifelong commitment. A Filipina does not just see a relationship as something temporary or something to enjoy while it lasts. When she chooses a man, she sees him as part of her future. This is why many foreigners feel so deeply loved in relationships with Filipinas. There is a level of devotion and care that makes them feel wanted, appreciated, and important. But with this love comes responsibility. A Filipina does not just love a man for what he says, but for what he does. Actions mean more than words. She wants to feel safe, secure, and assured that the relationship is real. If a foreigner is serious about his Filipina, he must be ready to prove it, not just through romantic words, but through commitment, consistency, and respect. One of the biggest differences in relationships here is the importance of family. In Western countries, a couple often focuses only on their personal relationship, making decisions based on what is best for them as individuals. But in the Philippines, a relationship often involves family members as well. A Filipina grew up with strong family ties, and her love for her family is deeply rooted in her identity. This means that when she chooses a partner, she expects him to understand that her family will always be a part of her life. It does not mean she loves him any less, but it means that love is not just about two people, it is about the people who raised her, supported her, and shaped her values. For some foreigners, this is difficult to understand. They may expect a private relationship where decisions are made only between the couple. But in reality, a Filipina may consult her parents or siblings about important choices. This is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of respect. She values the opinions of those she loves, and she wants their approval in her life decisions. A foreigner who respects this will have a much easier time building a healthy and happy relationship. But if he sees this as interference, he may feel frustrated and misunderstood. Another important aspect of relationships in the Philippines is financial responsibility. Many Filipinas grow up in families that do not have much, and supporting each other is a normal part of life. This is why some Filipinas expect their partner to help, especially if he is financially stable. However, this is not the same as gold digging. It is about security, responsibility, and love. A man who truly loves a Filipina must be ready to discuss financial expectations early in the relationship. Not every Filipina expects financial support, but it is better to have this conversation than to assume things and be surprised later. Trust is another major factor in relationships with Filipinas. Many of them are very protective of their love, and they expect loyalty in return. A Filipina wants to feel like she is the only woman in her man's life, and she wants to be reassured of this often. While some men find this level of attention overwhelming, others appreciate it because it shows how deeply she cares. However, trust issues can arise if there is a lack of communication. A foreigner who is honest, transparent, and respectful will earn his Filipina's trust and build a strong relationship. But if he hides things, flirts with other women, or makes her feel insecure, jealousy and doubts can grow quickly. Cultural differences can also create misunderstandings in relationships. What is normal in one country may be seen differently in another. A foreigner who comes to the Philippines must be willing to learn about Filipino culture, traditions, and ways of thinking. Simple things like showing respect to elders, understanding religious beliefs, or knowing how to behave in family gatherings can make a big difference. The more effort a man puts into understanding his Filipina's background, the more she will appreciate and respect him. Commitment is a serious matter in the Philippines. Many Filipinas see relationships as a step toward marriage, not just something casual. This is why it is important for a foreigner to be honest about his intentions from the beginning. If he is looking for a serious relationship, he must show it through his actions. If he is not ready for a long-term commitment, he must be honest and not give false hope. A Filipina does not invest her heart easily. When she loves fully. A man who plays with her emotions will only bring pain, and that is something that should be avoided at all costs. Despite the challenges, love in the Philippines can be incredibly rewarding. A Filipina who truly loves her partner will stand by his side through thick and thin. She will be his greatest supporter, his most loyal companion, and the person who brings warmth and happiness into his life. She will take care of him when he is sick, celebrate his successes, and make sure he never feels alone. Her love is not just a temporary feeling, it is a lifelong promise. For those who are ready to embrace the differences and appreciate the beauty of Filipino love, the experience can be life-changing. A successful relationship with a Filipina is not about luck, it is about effort, understanding, and respect. The happiest couples are those who take the time to learn from each other, communicate openly, and grow together. Before making a commitment, a foreigner should ask himself again, do I truly understand what a relationship with a Filipino means? Am I ready for the cultural differences, the family involvement, and the expectations that come with love in the Philippines? If the answer is yes, then he is on the right path. But if he still has doubts, he should take more time to learn and understand before making any big decisions. True love is never rushed. It is built through patience, respect, and mutual effort. Love in the Philippines is not just about romance, it is about partnership, about facing life together, and about choosing each other every single day. Those who understand this will find not just love, but a relationship that lasts a lifetime.